Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we are on the sunny balcony to do a little bit of maintenance and to plant some first summer planters. Last time I recorded the video here was in February. We did some February balcony gardening tasks. I pruned their climbers, we root pruned photinias. So maybe first I'm gonna give you a quick look on how the balcony looks now, late spring, early summer, and then I'm gonna show you what's the plan for today. So for those of you who are new to my channel, this is the sunny balcony, as I call it. It's a balcony that I take care of, and it's south facing, so sun all day long. That's why I call it the sunny balcony, because it's the contrary to my balcony that's in the shade for most of the day. And on the sunny balcony, starting in this corner here, we have two photinias that were just in bloom like a week or two ago. I regret that I didn't capture it before, because when they are in bloom they look absolutely stunning. So they provide sort of a privacy screen and windbreak at the same time. Really lovely evergreen shrubs, not very winter hardy though, only hardy down to zone 7. On the railings we have seasonal planters. I planted them last fall. I'm gonna pop a picture here on the screen to show you how they looked at their prime. They still look quite decent. We have Molenbeekia trailing here. We have those beautiful Carex grasses, Carex bronze form, and then Heuchera blondie. I absolutely love these Heucheras, love their little flowers. So we will be planting these planters sometime probably next week or in a couple of weeks. And then as we turn around, there's this corner, and in this corner we have two climbers. We have a climbing clematis, Clematis arabella that I planted last fall. It's a late summer, early fall blooming clematis, but it already produced some flowers, beautiful purple flowers. On the other side we have a rose. Well, technically it's a shrub rose, but one that can be trained sort of as a climber, and that's what we are going for. Ideally we want this rose kind of to meet this clematis in the center. And then in the center we have these two oleanders, and I was really against planting these two oleanders in here because I said to the owners, you know, there's not enough space for two oleanders in there. Oleanders are really large shrubs, and maybe we will have a space for one in the center, but definitely not for two next to each other this close, because they grow pretty rapidly. And as you can see already, they started to kind of enter in the rows on this side and kind of start to slowly overcrowd that clematis. But the owners are searching for a new house for these two. So what we will do today is we'll take care of these planters on the floor. So I did not plant these, the owners planted them themselves, and we have a mix of some really lovely plants with winter interest. We have some Gaultheria procumbens, we have Jacobea maritima, and we have Halaborus niger. So all of these plants are technically perennial and you could keep them for years to come, but because this balcony is fairly small and the owners enjoy having something new all the time, something fresh, something seasonal, so we are going to be removing them, cleaning those planters, and we are going to plant some new lovely summer flowers in there. So right now, as you can see, this corner is kind of in the shade, but it does receive a good amount of morning sunlight and early afternoon sunlight, but it's protected from that harsh, scorching afternoon sun. Alright, so first I'm gonna clean those planters, and then I'm gonna show you what flowers I picked for this season, and then we are gonna kind of take care of all of this. We are gonna fertilize and check on all of these other plants in this corner. Always putting worms back into the pots. But definitely not putting slugs back into the pots. As you could see, I removed the top layer of that old potting mix. I'm not getting rid of the whole potting mix because it's still good quality, it's totally fine to reuse it, but I just scraped the top layer of that old soil, and now I'm gonna refill these pots with some fresh multi-purpose potting mix. I'm using Light Mix by Playground, the same thing I use on my own balcony. It's a multi-purpose potting mix with added perlite, so it's great for annual or seasonal flowers. Alright, so let me show you all the beautiful plants that I picked for this year's planters. Alright, so here they all are, and aren't they gorgeous? So from the right here we have Hypostis polystachya, I believe that's how you pronounce it, might be wrong, polka dot plant. Then we have Verbena ex hybrida and Lobularia maritima, sweet alyssum. So all of these plants are suitable for sunny balconies. Polka dots can be grown in partial shade as well, but as I mentioned before, this area where we are going to plant them receives a good amount of sunlight, and then it's protected from harsh scorching afternoon sun. So all of these plants should do really, really well in these conditions. Okay, so this is more or less how it will look. Before I plant anything, I always place plants still in their pots on top of soil, just to check if I like the layout. If I don't, I just play with it a little bit, move plants, change kind of the way they are positioned, and then once I'm satisfied with how it looks, I only then begin to plant. It's also really important with those summer planters not to overcrowd them. You need to give your plants some room to grow, because obviously they are gonna grow and bloom for months, because we are only in May, so these can bloom until first frost, so they will have plenty of time to put on some growth, to fill those containers out. Okay, now I'm just gonna fill around those plants with extra potting soil, making sure that all the root balls are covered. I was also asked to plant this little rhododendron. This is a gift that they received. They were not super happy about it, because obviously, again, the rhododendrons are very large plants, and we kind of already have all the space taken by other plants on this balcony, and they don't want to overcrowd the balcony either, because they want to have enough space obviously to move around, to eat on the balcony and stuff like that. But since it was a gift, they decided to keep it, so they asked me to plant it. So for rhododendrons, it's really important to buy ericaceous compost, so acidic compost, because they need acidic soil. If you plant rhododendrons in just a classic multi-purpose potting mix, it's not gonna grow well. So always remember to pick ericaceous potting mix for rhododendrons, azaleas, camellias, and all of those acid-loving plants. So as you can see, the plant was not really growing straight in its pot. You can see that it kind of goes on the side. So what I always do, I tilt it a little bit so that it's positioned straight in its final pot. Also, you obviously want to plant it at the same depth that it was planted in its previous container. So we're going to shake off a little bit of that soil here. This pot is way too small as a final pot for rhododendrons, just by the way. It's not me who picked the pot, not me who picked the potting soil. I'm just planting this plant spontaneously here. But if you were to grow rhododendrons, you definitely need a larger pot. I mean, if you pick a smaller cultivar, you can get away with planting it in a smaller pot. But generally speaking, rhododendrons are large shrubs and they need large containers. So this is definitely too small. So after a couple of years, this plant will definitely need to be repotted into a larger container. But for now, it will do. Okay, so now the last thing left to do is to water and fertilize everything, and I already mixed my fertilizer with water, and I'm using the exact same thing I use for my own plants, Alga Bloom, which is an organic fertilizer for flowering phase, so for all these plants that you can see here, because they're all flowering at the moment. And I'm gonna fertilize these newly planted flowers immediately as well, because this is an organic fertilizer, so it's not immediately absorbed by the plant roots, so it's okay. There's no risk of scorching plants or something like that, so we can start fertilizing immediately. Alright, so it's all done and we will be back on this balcony in a couple of weeks to plant these summer planters on the railing. And in the meantime, you can check out a playlist I created on my channel called The Sunny Balcony, where you will find other videos from this balcony, some seasonal projects and ideas for different seasonal compositions. Thanks so much for joining me today, and we will see each other in the next video.